My name is Yuji Miyajima. Thanks to putting my head down and, well, grinding away day after day, I'm actually doing pretty well for myself. I've steadily climbed the corporate ladder, and now I'm sitting comfortably as the acting section manager. But while my career is soaring, my personal life is completely grounded. I have absolutely zero experience with romance. And just like that, I somehow turned 35 without a single girlfriend. Hey Mom, I'm back.
Oh, Yuji, welcome home. Did you bring the souvenirs from your business trip like you promised?
Yeah, here you go. That Australian stuff you asked for. Got any snacks lying around?
Thanks, sweetie. Oh, by the way, Amy's mother is coming over later. You remember Amy next door, right? I am just so worried about her lately.
Ami, what happened? She's doing fine, isn't she?
Not at all. Just this year alone. She has dated and broken up with 3 different men. 3 breakups in 6 months. It never lasts.
Wait, seriously? But Amy is drop-dead gorgeous, and she's a genuinely good person. How is that even possible? I mean, I figured guys would be lining up at her door.
Her standards must be way too high, Yuji. You have to talk some sense into her. Tell her she'll never get married at this rate. Please, as her childhood friend, do something.
Hold on, I'm in no position to give relationship advice.
Well then, why don't you just marry her, Yuji?
No, absolutely not if her standards are that insanely high. A boring guy like me is completely out of the question. Besides, Ami and I are just childhood friends. We only really talk because you and her mom are so close. And whenever we do meet up, it's just completely mundane, pointless small talk. Guys from entirely different schools used to come just to catch a glimpse of her. She was intimidatingly perfect. If I had dared to talk to her in public, the rumors would have destroyed me. We just aren't close enough for me to suddenly lecture her about marriage. But of course, my mom's constant gossip eventually got to me. I ended up sending her an awkward text asking if she wanted to grab drinks. So, I hear you're actively looking for a marriage partner.
Yeah, well, I'm 35 now. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't starting to feel the pressure and getting a little anxious about it. It's just, I get confessed to a lot, sure, but whenever I try actually dating someone, it feels completely wrong. I just can't imagine spending the rest of my life with them.
Are your standards just insanely high? I mean, are you looking for someone tall, highly educated, or demanding some massive 30 million yen salary to even consider them?
No, I've never broken up with a guy over his salary or his job title. I honestly don't care about elite status or finding an internationally successful celebrity lawyer.
Okay, then what exactly is it? If it's not money status or looks, what kind of ridiculously high ideal are you actually holding out for?
Listen closely. In my left nostril, I have exactly 1 mutant nose hair. It grows at a terrifyingly rapid pace, while all the other hairs stop at a certain length. This one single rebel absolutely refuses to know its own limits.
My brain completely short-circuited. We were having a serious conversation about her marriage prospects, and she suddenly hits me with a passionate speech about her nose hair.
It grows so fast and so long that it literally reaches across the abyss and tickles the opposite wall of my nostril. It makes my nose itch like crazy. There is an endless brutal war happening inside my face.
Okay, sure. But have you considered just cutting it or plucking it out? I gave her the most practical, grounded reality check I could possibly muster under the bizarre circumstances.
Of course I cut it, but it always comes back from the exact same follicle, stronger and longer than before. It is a never-ending cycle of violence. Yuji.
Okay, but you do realize that passionately detailing the biology of your mutant nose hair is absolutely not normal date conversation for a stunningly beautiful woman, right? You're basically sabotaging yourself.
That is exactly the point, Yuji. I want a husband I can casually talk to about gross things like nose hair without feeling ashamed. I want that to be a perfectly normal, acceptable conversation over breakfast. Is that really so much to ask? Every guy I date just looks at my face and expects me to be this quiet, flawless, graceful doll at all times. It's suffocating. I hate having to walk on eggshells just to maintain an illusion. I'm a human being, not a mannequin.
Suddenly, it all clicked. I remembered all those mornings before school when she would proudly show off her gravity-defying, absurd bedheads to me. She'd laugh like a complete maniac while trying to brush it down. She had always been like this. Ami was undeniably gorgeous, but underneath that perfect exterior, she had always been a massive weirdo. I was just the only person she ever felt comfortable enough to show it to.
So, do you happen to have any nice guy friends? Someone open-minded who wouldn't mind accepting the strange, unglamorous side of my personality?
The next day at the office, I thought about her request. We had one guy who fit the bill, my incredibly handsome 39-year-old section manager Daiki. He was universally liked, and practically flawless.
A quirky, interesting beauty who wants to talk about her weird habits. That actually sounds refreshing. I just went through a boring breakup, so I would absolutely love to meet a girl with some real character. Set it up, Miyajima.
I texted Amy immediately. I pitched him as the perfect candidate, charming, highly successful, and most importantly, a fantastic listener who wouldn't judge her weird rants. It felt like a guaranteed win.
Sure, I'll meet him. Anyway, listen to this. Last night, I had a genuinely terrifying dream where I was being aggressively chased by a giant chikuwa.
A fish cake. What kind of warped mental state makes you dream about being chased by a fish cake? I hung up the phone, instantly breaking out in a cold sweat. Was setting my completely flawless boss up with this absolute weirdo actually a terrible career-ending mistake? A few days later, manager Daiki approached my desk to give me the post-date report. I braced myself, fully expecting him to complain about her bizarre conversation topics and demand an apology.
She was incredibly beautiful, and honestly, a very funny and interesting girl. But unfortunately, I didn't quite meet her standards. I actually got completely rejected, Miyajima.
Wait, you got rejected? I was floored. She actually turned down a rich, handsome, completely perfect manager. I immediately dragged Amy out for drinks to interrogate her. Are you crazy? Why did you ruin a perfectly good setup with my boss?
I'm really sorry for wasting the setup, Yuji. I really am. Your manager was a genuinely great guy. And he even politely listened to my story about the mutant nose hair. But he wasn't truly listening. He just kept laughing the whole time like I was putting on a stand-up comedy routine for his personal entertainment. He treated my weirdness like it was some hilarious sideshow attraction, rather than an actual part of me. I don't want to be the funny weird girl he tolerates because she's entertaining. I just want my gross mundane stories to be accepted as normal life. I want to be able to talk about completely pointless things without being analyzed.
Looking into her eyes, I finally grasped it. Behind that flawless, perfect public mask she wore every day, there was a deep, exhausting loneliness hiding just beneath the surface. She had spent her entire life absolutely terrified that making one weird comment would shatter her image as a perfect, untouchable beauty. She just desperately wanted a place where she could finally drop that heavy burden. Right. Well, hey, I'm heading out on a business trip to Fukuoka tomorrow. Do you want me to bring back any specific souvenirs for you? The next day, I stopped by my parents' house to grab my old travel bag. But honestly, my mind was still completely stuck on that heavy conversation I had with Amy.
So, how did the big date go? Spill all the juicy details right now. Did your handsome boss finally sweep our little Amy off her feet?
It completely failed. She rejected him because he treated her stories like a comedy routine. She has this incredibly strict rule about finding a guy who will casually accept her completely unglamorous rants about her mutant nose hairs. The moment I said that, my mother stopped moving entirely. A slow, knowing, and slightly exasperated smirk began to spread across her face. She had figured it out instantly.
Oh, you absolute idiot. The nose hair is just a metaphor. Amy is practically begging for a partner who won't judge her when she's sloppy sick or looking completely unglamorous in her own home. She wants safety. So why on earth don't you just marry her yourself? You literally already do all of those things for her. You've been listening to her nonsense for 20 years.
What are you, crazy? We are literally just childhood friends. Someone as incredibly gorgeous as her would absolutely never settle for an extremely boring average corporate guy like me.
Open your eyes, Yuji. Stop being so incredibly dense. You are literally the only man on this entire earth who Ami feels completely safe enough to be weird around. How can you possibly be so blind?
The absolute truth hit me like a speeding freight train. I had been completely blind for 20 years. She wasn't making pointless small talk. She was desperately showing me her true self. As I stood there holding my travel luggage, I finally admitted it to myself. I didn't just casually tolerate her weird, messy, unglamorous side. I actually loved it. I was deeply in love with my idiotic childhood friend. Hey, I'm back from Fukuoka. I picked up that spicy mentaiko you asked for as a souvenir. But when she came to the door, she looked completely drained. The bright, goofy spark was entirely gone from her eyes. She barely even managed to force a polite smile when she took the bag.
Thanks, Yuji. Hey, did you know another one of our old high school classmates just got married yesterday? It really makes me feel like I'm officially the only one completely left behind. My friends told me my standards are just completely stupid. And honestly, They're totally right. I need to give up on finding someone who will casually accept me. That impossible ideal just doesn't exist anywhere. So, I've decided to just lock away my weird side forever. I'll force myself to be the perfect quiet doll everyone expects me to be. I'll just grit my teeth, endure the suffocation, and marry whoever is willing to take me.
My chest tightened. Hearing the woman I loved decide to intentionally make herself miserable sparked pure white-hot anger inside me. Are you seriously listening to yourself right now? Stop talking like that. A fake marriage built on hiding your true self for the rest of your life will be absolute hell. I absolutely refuse to let you throw your entire happiness away just to fit in.
But what else am I supposed to do, Yuji? My ideal man clearly doesn't exist anywhere in this world. I don't have any other choice but to completely compromise.
Then just marry me instead. I'm already perfectly used to all of your absolute nonsense. I've been listening to your ridiculous nose hair rants and looking at your insane bedheads for 20 years anyway. Amy froze completely. The tears instantly stopped falling as her brain struggled to process what her completely oblivious childhood friend had just confidently declared.
Wait, you're a manager, reliable, and you actually listen to my gross stories without judging me.
She looked at me in absolute shock. The exact man she was desperately searching for had literally been standing right next door this entire time. I'm sorry I was such an absolute idiot and took 20 long years to finally notice. But I want to spend the rest of my life dealing with your weirdness because the truth is, I genuinely love you, Ami. 1 year later, we got happily married. And let me tell you, absolutely nothing has changed.
Yuji, the mutant nose hair is back, and it's plotting my absolute downfall.
She is perfectly imperfect, and I wouldn't trade our chaotic, unglamorous life together for anything else in the world.